What is going on, FFTV viewers? Thank you for tuning in to another week, another podcast. We are here. I am Sultan here today with D Ships, Oski, and I got Reeks in the building.
The one and only chef.
Get it.
We got a lot to talk about, man.
Tune into my damn food videos.
Yo, we got this top four just looking real shaky in the Premier League.
It's tight.
And these teams, they got points to close in, and they both fumbling. I want to start off with Chelsea.
Both?
Let's
Both?
No.
Y'all been fumbling all season. I'm not taking that serious.
Go ahead.
Yo,
what you want to ask?
Shippy, I want to
His energy high for a man that got 3 love.
I want to get your opinion, man. What you think, bro? 3-0 against Sheffield United before we get into Manchester United.
3-2 against West Ham. Talking about bottles.
All right, listen.
Let's talk about since y'all came. You know what, Shippy? Explain to me since y'all came back since lockdown. What did y'all really do? Who did y'all really improve? Name me a player other than Pulisic that's been balling on the Chelsea team. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny, but it's facts.
It's facts that we beat City.
I'm trying to hear it.
It's facts that we've only lost 2 games since
we're not taking City this season. You taking City serious this season?
Let's look at the schedule since the restart has begun. We've played 3 teams in the top 6. You've played 1.
Who's the 3 teams that played in the top 6?
So Leicester, obviously, FA Cup game, which is fine.
No. I'm talking Prem.
All right, we played.
Shippy,
we played Villa.
Villa's top 6.
We played Villa, Palace, City, Watford. 4 wins.
Where's the top 6?
We mean.
Where's the top 6 we played?
City, all right, but one thing, the table never lies. The table never lies.
Nah, for real, Shippy. I mean, listen, forget about who we played against, because we versed Sheffield United and we blew
that was a wound.
3-0 from y'all. But what happened? What happened?
It was a wounded Aston Villa, right?
It's a weekend difference.
If we're talking about the game against Sheffield United, obviously that was nobody turned up. And
y'all barely passed Crystal Palace.
Yo, let him talk for a second.
And we're in third. The table doesn't lie.
Y'all not in third for long, though. Y'all not in third for long.
If I'm talking about the Sheffield United game, we did not turn up. In terms of
clearly
the mentality, the intensity, it wasn't there. And the defense, it showed Lampard that at least 2 of those center have to go. They're not good enough for next season where we want to be challenging. Maybe not winning the title next season, but challenging. At least 2 of those center halves are not good enough. Yeah. Who, I don't know. That's up to him who he's gonna pick, but it's not good enough. But I'm confident we'll finish in the top 4. We'll finish in the top 4. If we're looking at the schedules, I expect 3 points tomorrow. I expect 3 points against Norwich.
Watch them come and show up.
I expect 3 points. Liverpool, we've shown that we can compete against the bigger teams, beat City when no one expected us to beat City. The only reason that game didn't get highlighted was because Liverpool won the game.
It was a fluke.
The table is a fluke too. 3rd place.
Not for long.
We've got if you look at the other team schedule, Leicester have a tough schedule. They got Sheffield Thursday. They got Spurs, and they have United. I don't expect them to finish the top 4. I expect it to be United in 4th and Chelsea in 3rd. I'm gonna leave it there.
Who was it a bigger loss for, United or Chelsea this week?
Chelsea.
Wow.
You guys were 5 points ahead of us. Now you're a point.
I still think it's United.
I
think today was
so
huge.
A bigger loss this weekend. Who was a bigger loser? It was
probably Chelsea,
but
this was a big.
Let's be real. The biggest loser is Leicester. Yeah. From the biggest overall.
They had a lead.
They had a big lead over 3rd place. Yeah. So for United and Chelsea to cut through, okay, cool. But Chelsea is easy games they should have got away with. They should have got away with the West Ham.
I understand.
They should have got away. At least you should have got with a 1-0 win.
Wait, who?
Against Sheffield.
The thing is, don't underestimate Sheffield.
I'm not,
because when they came,
they could make top 4. Wolves could make top 4.
That's why I don't want to underestimate the West Ham game. Was a game we need to win. We had the lead. We brought it back.
But let's be real.
Sheffield and Wolves, even though
every team has been bottling this season.
Great. Even though Sheffield and Wolves are great teams, you just gotta look at the point gap between them and Leicester. Just a little too much. I think it's 5 or 4 points right now. So it's gonna be hard for those teams to break in top 4. But essentially those 3 teams that we're talking about right now, Leicester, United, and Chelsea. United needed those 3 points today. It was a big L to tie against
what went wrong, though?
Southampton.
You guys had
what went wrong?
It's football.
You can see the fatigue, bro.
No, it's football.
Bruno didn't have the best game, though.
Bruno had
Pogba didn't have the best game.
And Bruno Fernandes had 2 shocker of a game. Both the whole midfield that day was just non-existent. If you looked at the United game, our most performing players were Rashford, our defenders, Martial, and our attackers. Our midfielder just could not connect. This was
except
easily,
Whatttt was doing his thing.
I mean, it just easily hands down overall for midfield, just a bad game overall for United.
But let's be realistic. United didn't have a bad game.
They didn't have. They
We
didn't
were
have
up
a bad
2-1.
game.
We were.
But that's why I say, because you guys finally had some decent competition. Bournemouth is not competition when you guys played them. They rolled over.
We also had Sheffield United. It's
Let's
not
be-
about competition. It's not about competition.
Because this
It
is what's
just-
getting me mad when you're like, oh, you had some competition. If Rashford would have finished his chance today, it would have been no competition. That one-on-one Martial would have finished. It would have been no competition. Another one that he cracked both them players. What a play! That would have never been no competition. Let's be real. Our 2-star players were not really in the groove. But that shows you, it shows you it's time to bring in summertime. You need to cash out. I'm not saying drop 120 on Sancho, but you're gonna need to build that bench. So when there's no performance, who do I look at to get on the field to ball? For them, they weren't a threat. The only threat was that he had what a save. Let's be realistic.
They had chances too,
but it was nothing crazy. It was not like what we had. We had the bigger chances.
First 15 minutes, they were all over y'all. They were nicking possession of Matic and Pogba.
That was fine.
They were high pressing.
They were high pressing, but they weren't dangerous. They didn't get that big chance like we had the oh my god moments. We had the oh my god moments. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. 97-minute scramble in the box. I don't know what Maguire was doing with that run.
That's the Premier League.
But that's football. That's football.
Overall, Southampton just had that gritty result. You know what I mean? They control.
I love their coach though.
They control what they needed to. The team was extremely well driven. Like you said though, you know they had more possession throughout the game, but they didn't do much with it. But they were forcing United to make turnovers, and that was our biggest problem today.
Is that a red card?
100% red card on Romeo, red card on Walker Peters too. That's his name, right?
And the Brandon Williams thing.
Yeah, with the handball. So you know, granted that we should have been playing with 11 players against 10 instead of us with 10 players. It was really a shame, but we can't do much about it. It's football, right? You're not gonna sit there and complain. If this was a fluke result for United, and like we've seen the string of results and the multiple goals and just the outstanding performances of United, then I don't see a problem with them replicating it against the next 3 games and then getting into the top 4. But if this is really what United just shows, like the instability, inconsistency, then you're going to see United falling down and not being able to capitalize on top 4. So it's going to be a big next 3 games, and they just have to focus on the next game and really come out strong.
Is it going to come to the final game?
But the final game is who? You and Leicester.
But that's what's frustrating about it, because had United won today,
it would have always
your destiny is in your own hands.
It would have
now
always
you need Chelsea to lose.
It would have no. It would have always been in Leicester in our hand in that game, because even if we moved up by 1 point, all Leicester had to do is win a game. You know what I mean? So it's a win-win match no matter what. We have to win that match. There is no draw. There's nothing.
The game against Leicester.
Yeah, the game against Leicester. So even if we did break top 4 today, we still would have had to win that game against Leicester.
You pray Leicester drop points.
They will.
They will.
You just got to focus on yourself. You know what I mean?
You know what's crazy? I think they should be more worried about Sheffield than Spurs.
Who, Leicester?
Leicester.
Yeah, because
Sheffield's rolling.
They chasing them.
They're rolling.
Sheffield won it.
Bro, the reason why going back to the Chelsea United thing,
because I want to look at the table
we have more depth. Like you said, that bench you have. Who'd you bring on today? I think Daniel James.
We brought in McTominay.
That's where it's gonna fall, because if something goes wrong between Pogba or Fernando or Bruno, it's a big issue.
That's why Leicester's dropping.
So Sheffield is 6 points off a third.
Okay.
And
so that means they're what?
And
5
Wolves is 5 points off a third. So the league is not for Sheffield.
And we play Wolves last game this season.
Exactly. And Sheffield's
3rd through 7th.
Sheffield's upcoming games is Leicester, which is they could beat them. Everton, which they could also beat them, and Southampton, which is a tough game, but they could also beat them. So
it's gonna be they're out of the picture, honestly, and I'll be real. Yeah.
You think so?
The 2 top teams right now that are gonna have to make it, Chelsea, and if they don't, it's just gonna be a big problem.
Think Wolves is out the picture?
I think they're out the picture.
Wolves has Burnley, Palace, and Chelsea.
I don't think Chelsea and United are gonna drop that many points to let any team in like
Chelsea's
that.
Gonna fall with the bag.
I don't see Chelsea winning out. I don't.
I just can't see them dropping out like that.
No, because here's my thing though. Here's my thing though that a lot of people are not talking about. Liverpool's won the league.
Yeah.
They want the 100-point mark.
If they wanted, they wouldn't got smacked by City.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But here's my thing. They're gonna get up for that Chelsea game.
Yeah.
They can spoil it for Chelsea.
But we can.
So I think Liverpool is gonna be firing when they play Chelsea.
Fine. You have a tough couple results coming up. United on the easier side. Leicester also has a couple.
They have the toughest.
I can't call West Ham easy. West
It's
Ham,
just
a lot of teams don't want
for
to get
United.
relegated.
United, I'm not calling these teams easy, but for United
It's
and
expected.
our capabilities currently, we have to. It has to be a W, and it has to be nothing else than that.
It was crazy. Third and fourth are up for the grabs.
Yeah, the whole thing.
But for United, it's, even when you ask what I'm wrong, like the whole second string that you just brought up with Chelsea, you guys have that depth of change where you can switch out players, bring in Mason Mount, you can bring in Barkley if he's not starting. You have multiple players. You guys great depth for that squad. And then you look at United today. I'm not calling Scott McTominay, Fred, or any of these players bad, but they're not the standard of Pogba or
you're gonna see the drop.
Bruno Fernandes. So the drop of quality in the attacking wise and just multiple
he
linking
tried to play
players and everything.
defensively, which was proper to play for the win.
Yeah.
And what really killed us was the Brandon Williams injury.
Yeah, so
that was a man short in the box of
And
a
that was
last
a
minute
free
header.
So you guys were playing a man down that last.
Man down the last 10 minutes or whatever it was. The 10 minutes. Yeah, so it killed us. And that's why they capitalized in the 96 minutes of a 97. It was 5 minutes in OT. And then they wasted 3 times with when he got injured, and then in that extra minute. So if he was there, someone would have been man marking someone else, and it would have been a whole different story. Yeah, but let's be real, it's football. You got to take what happens.
Back to what I was saying real quick. Sancho, I know you guys think that fee is a lot, 120 mil. I don't think that fee is going to be reached because just, all that's going on with COVID and everything. Mm-hmm. I think the clubs will try to, play something out where, we'll pay you, 75, 80 mils, maybe in installments, we'll reach up to 100. I do think a player of Sancho quality and you bring in somebody like Grealish, nick him off right off Villa if they get relegated, or just any center attacking mid who is that type of quality, I think it will completely change the game of United. Now you can rely on, all right, Bruno's having a terrible game today. Throw in Grealish. Just like you could just interlock them. We've seen City. I know you said, but dropping 80 million on a player is OD. But we've seen City's title-winning team. You got Mahrez, who was a first-team starter at Leicester before he moved to City, and he went to City and gets benched sometimes by Bernardo. So that's one position that these two players are fighting for back and forth, and they could arguably be one of two best wingers in the world, So it's does Sancho come in and get benched by who? No, it's not even about that. It's about depth. It's about who's coming in and starting and who's going to be the strongest lineup. It's not about who's getting dropped, who's this, who's that. Sancho is going to be a great acquisition for United if we do get him, and I think if United gets him, you could see them fighting for the league next year.
We were having that discussion. We brought up, I don't know who it was, but similar to Sancho, if you're going to get back to the top, you have to have competition. So when I hear people, does he want to be a bit... You want to play at the top. You want to win stuff. You can't. It's not enough to have one top player in each position. You need at least 2, some 3.
But my thing is that it all depends on what United's transfer budget is. Because this isn't FIFA. There's no way there's a blank check. So if the transfer budget is 200 million, 120 is going to Sancho. Now you have 80 mil, and United, in my opinion, are 3-4 signings away. And you mentioned Grealish. That would be a nice cop. I think you need to go center back. I like Mings. And you need a defense, and you need a defensive midfielder.
You gotta get more Deadwood out too.
You say
because you need to get Matic out the 11. You need to get him out.
You also have Scott McTominay. You have Fred.
Another season. His legs are gone.
I don't think we're gonna need a center defensive mid, and also the center back positions, like Ole said in the press conference, we have 8 center backs. Yeah, they might not all be world class, but Bailey on his day, Twanzebe on his day. Think about it. These are players who come in and they perform.
You like Bailly?
Not tested enough.
I heard they're thinking about him going on loan.
I like how aggressive he is, but he's just he definitely fell out of form.
We ain't seen enough of him.
We've seen him under Mourinho and how good he could be and how vital he can become to the team. We just need that form back. You know what I mean?
Against Chelsea.
I seen him on the bench.
We skimmed over it real quick, but why do you think Leicester fell off?
There's no depth. You brought up a good point. They have a good 11, and mind you, Madison has been injured. Right. But you look at their bench. They have a great 11. Jamie Vardy, Harvey Barnes, Wilfred Ndidi. Their bench, Iheanacho.
Iheanacho's a bowler. He's critical.
But he doesn't put feel in your Mark Albrighton.
He's not going to put those numbers up.
He's Dennis Pratt.
But he didn't start in our Premier League team either.
Damari Gray. They're just not.
It's literally showing.
They're not a Champions League side.
That depth is not good enough to sustain where they want to be. Because it was right before lockdown. It was about 8-9 games left. They've been just
but they've been third since September.
Yeah.
So
they were on that joyride of that.
So the decline has been tough. The decline is.
Brendan Rodgers, he drilled them well, and they were very aggressive. They were a very well played side. Their only problem is, like you said, there was no depth. So I have to agree on that. And there comes a time where these players just cannot keep performing at the level they were performing. And you even see that with United today with the midfield.
That's like the same thing with United. When we lost our star players, it was tough.
It's tough to keep performing on that level.
But the big difference is, like how you said, but United, you got to go for the Sanchos, the Haalands, the world class. Leicester City, that's what I'm saying. Their board has to be creative. I'm reading that they're interested in Luka Jovic. I don't know how good of a signing he would be for them.
Danny Ings.
They should be going after like a Danny Ings. They should be going after a few of the Norwich guys, Cantwell, Godfrey,
Max
Aarons.
Yeah.
That's what they should be looking at. If I was Leicester, I would see what's up with Mings if they go down. But for me, Leicester City don't have a Champions League side. So that's my thing. They're not good enough.
And to recap over the London Derby side too.
My thing is the special one not special no more? Like I feel like
I've been said this.
They're a terrible side.
And not only is
Spurs?
the players not only are Spurs bad,
not good enough.
But Mourinho just I don't think he has that juice anymore. His tactics, the way he coaches the players.
That game yesterday was pure Jose though.
Yeah,
pure Joe. You could tell they play Aubameyang's off the left. He put Sissoko on that side, stifle that whole Tierney and Aubameyang duo. Like that's Mourinho, but that's what those kind of tactics. Yeah, it's not progressive. It's not tiki taka. But if it wins you games and wins you a derby like the North London derby, you don't care.
See, I agree with you, but the thing is
but it's like two fluke goals. I'm sorry to interrupt you. The goals were not really class.
No.
I mean, Lacazette's goal was crazy.
Lacazette's goal. Yeah,
Davis had what a shot. That could have been a Puskas winner. But I mean, it's just not entertaining football.
It's not. But
you know what I'm saying?
It's winning.
And the same goes for
it's winning.
The same goes for Arteta. He knows David Luiz stay messing up, but why are you starting him?
But that was Kolasinac.
But you say
Kolasinac too.
But you say that, but I wish Chelsea had a little bit of that, like knowing how to win 1-0. We be going out looking like we're trying to score. We're up 2-0 against Palace, and they're still hitting crosses. Well, no, it was 3-2. And they're trying to go crosses in the box like 89th minute. Go to the flat, like that type of pragmatic.
Yeah, that comes with youth and experience, and you don't forget your side is very youthful.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
But I respect that.
Yeah. So, but the thing about Mourinho's tenacity that you brought up with him winning against, he won that London derby, correct? But you put both teams right now. Forget paper or anything. Just put both teams. You got Arsenal. You got Tottenham. The team in the next 2-3 years that you can see actually performing for top 4 is Arsenal, no doubt about it. Not only does Arteta have a plan, the team looks well-oiled. When they're on their day, these players are performing well. Everybody's connecting well. They're just performing extremely well. You got Lacazette, you got Aubameyang putting in goals, and they look just very dangerous. So, couple signings, Arsenal can be in a dangerous spot. Now let's talk about Tottenham. Where would Tottenham be in the next couple years with Jose? What is he going to do? Just go revamp the whole squad? The team itself doesn't look good. They don't look good. They look very lethargic when they're playing. And just Jose's style for Tottenham isn't doing it either.
You know, the problem is, too, they just got this new stadium. I think they owe money on it. I don't know if you guys peeped. They just requested a loan from, like, the Bank of England for, like, 185 mil. Where they going to get money to buy players?
Yeah.
They need players. They
need players.
Jose
Bro, I'm hearing their top summer recruit might be the midfielder from Southampton, Højbjerg. Yo.
I think Arsenal are in a much better position. Even though they took the loss against Tottenham, you could definitely see them in the next couple of years.
That backline
playing much better. Yeah,
you know what's crazy?
A couple signings and
you were talking about Sancho, human son. I've been telling Harry Kane, bro. You just said where would Spurs be 2-3 years from now? A lot of those star players won't be there. I think Son. I think Harry.
Tottenham
Kane,
is not a
Dele Alli,
trophy side.
These guys are gonna be out.
100%. They're not a trophy side, even though they're a great squad, but they might take their fall. They really might take their fall.
They were a couple years ago. If they added when they needed to,
they should have never let go of Pochettino.
I think the styles are too night and day. When you go from a Pochettino attacking offensive minded style to extremely defensive Mourinho, I think the players are like, whoa.
Yeah.
They need time to adjust.
And the belly anymore on the field.
Don't see him.
Y'all rate him?
Yeah, bro. Nah.
Yo, I saw Ndombele against Arsenal, and it just like the ball was leaving his feet alive. Terrible
baller.
touches.
He's a baller.
He's a baller. It's not working out right now.
He's not League One though.
It's not League One, but he's not a Mourinho style player. He doesn't appreciate.
Yeah, and Mourinho doesn't cut
who
for any
you guys think
mistakes.
is going to get relegated?
That's what I was going to say. Like top 6 aside,
Norwich
obviously relegated.
Confirmed. Bournemouth is making a run.
I think Aston Villa is going to get relegated.
I don't want Villa to go down.
I don't want them, but I think they're going to go down.
It's going to be tough. I honestly can't guess.
Who's in the fight right now?
It's Villa, Bournemouth, Watford, and West Ham United. Brighton is like 4 or 5 points ahead. Yeah, even though they got smoked by City the other day.
They just need one win.
Yeah.
I say West Ham and Bournemouth.
I'm gonna say Aston Villa and I think Bournemouth.
Aston
I think
Villa,
Austin Villa.
I don't want Bournemouth to go down.
I don't want them to go down, but I think they're gonna.
But you know what it comes down to these relegation fights? It's about who can score goals. So, what team has the best attacking line? I would say. I would put the Watford for me.
Watford, yeah.
They have 100%. The best
Troy
attack.
Deeney, Danny Welbeck.
They score goals.
DeFileo.
Yeah.
I mean, Solanke just scored.
Sar.
But is he,
I heard those were his like first 2 goals.
The game against who were they playing that day?
Leicester.
Bournemouth against Leicester, right?
Yeah.
The first half, they were invisible.
Shit,
then the second half is just a bunch of like.
No, but
go
honestly,
and listen to the commentary. Like,
what?
Bro, all 4 goals were the most suspect goals I've ever seen.
The
in
first
life.
goal with that was like.
That's why I don't want to hear none of the Schmeichel talk.
The second goal was a man.
He's a
The
good
third
keeper,
goal-
but you can't tell me.
Those 4 goals were hilarious.
yeah, I
Like,
mean,
it was a joke thing.
I don't think they're gonna be able to replicate those results against the next couple teams. So
True.
I could see Bournemouth
what's
going
sad
down.
is my first time. I could say this. Other than like, I really didn't care for Norwich.
Feel bad
Didn't they win the championship last year?
Yeah.
That was the team that won the
They won
championship. That's odd. And
It started off well too.
Sheffield came up with them, right?
They came up in second.
In second, and then third was Aston Villa off the
They
playoffs.
beat Derby in the playoffs.
Yeah, so it's crazy how the team that finished second is making a run for the Champions League, and the team that won first got relegated. But to me,
That's nuts.
I have a lot of respect for Bournemouth. I don't want to see them go down. Of course, West Ham, we got to respect them. You know, London team,
Forget that.
David
that.
Moyes.
I want to see
Mikel
that big
Antonio.
shiny stadium in the championship. Yeah, Olympic Stadium.
No, but what I like about West Ham though is that they never seem to get it right, but their owner's trying. He puts money into that team.
That team is full of international.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Whoever's head of recruitment just can't get it right.
But I think you know what? If I look back at Antonio, he's been
been a baller.
He tore us up. He tore up.
He's physical. He has a lot of potential to be great. Like his physicality, his pace. He has good eye on the ball, good eye on the field.
Y'all respect Moyes?
No, of course.
He's
You gotta
not
give him.
staying
No, I
against you
respect him,
guys.
but his time in football's past.
I don't think so. I think he might have another.
I think he's at where he should be with West Ham.
With West Ham, that's his level.
Mhm.
mid-table. Like he was with Everton.
With that squad they have, low-key, they should be a mid-table team.
Exactly. But West Ham don't want to be mid-table. That should be a top 10
Let's
team.
not forget, like David Moyes was a coach that was recommended by Ferguson after retired to take over the empire. And number 2, that ran with Everton when the era was hard in football in the Premier League. He was running with Everton close a couple times.
Did his thing with Everton.
He did a big thing with Everton. So you can't count him out because you've seen the touches against Yao.
Mm-hmm.
And then the win after that, the 4-0 win.
Yeah.
So he's starting to get his groove back low key. So that's why when we're talking about it, I can't sleep on West Ham.
But you know Villa too, they don't score enough goals. They don't. Who do you like? Literally, they triple team Grealish. Once you do that, there's nothing.
over.
You can't. They can't.
I
do
think
anything.
Villa's gonna go down.
That's why I could see them going down.
They got some nice
still
guys
got-
you can pick
They
off.
got some.
We got a
Yeah.
bunch of fire games coming up this
my
week,
boy
so
Trezeguet
I'm not
should
gonna
find
hold
some.
we
know,
need
I be-
FFTV on. Like,
I feel like Min's a little overrated though. I've been
Nah.
watching him. He look a little
I like
overrated.
Mings. I like Mings.
He's tall. He's got.
He's a
but
baller.
He's England, but he's a little overrated.
But who's partnering? We all know when you're a center back, who's partnering?
Well, they play 3. They play with like what's it, Akansa and
Put him next to Maguire. You don't think he gets better?
a couple of goals.
Put him
conceded.
next to Van
3
Dijk. You
goals
don't think he
conceded.
gets
I think
better?
Lindelof today had a good game too. So like, don't even put anybody next to Maguire, bro. Lindelof today played good, extremely well. So
Put him next to Lindelof.
yeah.
Come on.
Maguire gotta sit.
But nah, all jokes aside though, we have a bunch of fire games coming up this weekend, and
Stay tuned.
we need to be on top of that. FFTV got to be
Couple
posting.
feelings gonna get hurt.
Reg, man.
Feelings gonna get
And
hurt.
the ending of the Premier League is coming real close. We got FA Cup coming up. We got Europa League and Champions League.
Sunday.
So we're gonna be
All that
recapping
energy,
all that.
I need it on
I
Sunday.
need all that.
Need
I
y'all
that.
all to tune into
All
that. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that. So FFTV, we're gonna holler at you guys.
Blue's the color.